What do you do if you're completely burnt out on anime and can barely stand watching a single episode a week, but your entire channel is based around it? Play some Fire Emblem. I mean, it's got ships, waifus, and it's Japanese. It's practically anime, right? But anyways, I'll be playing Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. I've never played this before, and I've heard it's pretty hard, so wish me luck, I guess. But enough dilly-dally, let's get on with it. A man stole a baby, and all the dragons were mad. So they breathed fire onto the land, and thus the land became fiery. But not for long, because the altar of the blue flames awakened, and the blue flames flew up into the sky, and a Triforce was also there. And then the dragon was very mad, and exploded into purple, becoming the legendary super dragon, and then exploded again into white this time because, you know, you need some variety in your story. But now, thousands of years later, the time has finally come to reunite the blue flames once again, to summon the golden dragon and do something. Probably save the world or whatever. So now our heroes have to search across the land for these legendary items. Yeah, engaging and unique story. Fire Emblem. Something knows something. Okay, let's begin. First off, there's this long list of dates telling the history of the kingdom or something, but no one really cares. Then there's this cutscene that introduces so many characters and so much lore that I just gave up trying to remember anything at all. To summarize, there's a kingdom called Granbel with a bunch of duchies, ruled over by a prince with luscious hair. The prince is assisted by someone very confident, and I mean, I would be too with a beard like that, and of course we also have the Lord of the Rings. Wait, what? Did you just say that's copyrighted? Sorry about that. Well, let's just call him Lord Ring, cause he only has one ring. Wait, Anyways, blah blah blah, some evil looking guys pop up as well as everyone's favorite musician Elvis. And then, suddenly Isaac attacks a nearby town in the east and the prince goes to fight back. But it was all a bait. The kingdoms in the west he thought were his allies came in for a sneak attack while he was gone, and in my opinion, it's all the prince's fault. I mean, look at this guy, seriously? Just tell me that he doesn't just scream villain. Especially when all the good guys look like women, you gotta be suspicious of the one guy that actually has a chin. But alas, Prince Gandalf attacks Ljungby in search of the ring, and the only one there to defend it is Lady Ideen. But with hair like that, she could probably hide the ring up there and it would take years before anyone would ever find it. Luckily for us, Marth appears to save the day, and then blah 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 blah. Let's just get onto the gameplay, please. Thank you. But of course, before we actually get to play, there's still some more talking to do. So to just give you guys an idea of each soldier's personality, I've compiled a few quotes. Here we go. None of us are going anywhere, milady. We're here for you till the very end. Oh, thank you, my dear. Ah, so it's milady and my dear. I'm so sorry to put you through all this. Verdane's army may be full of barbarians, but it's huge. There are bound to be casualties. I can't get you involved. Excuse me, sir. We were born into the knighthood and are prepared to die fighting. Those barbarians will loot the place, kill everybody in sight, then burn it all to the ground. Sir, I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I'd like to join your assault. I've got very big hair as well, but not as big as the old lady. I'm very jealous.
Alright, I do it. But you got to promise to take me to battle with you sometime.
So now, finally, we can get into the game. The first thing I notice is, damn, this map is huge. Huge and open, which is definitely an advantage for the enemy as they can overwhelm us with numbers, so we're probably going to slowly move forward to pick off the barbarians one by one. Another thing I see is that roads decrease your defense by 10%, so whenever possible or whenever I remember, I'll try to avoid fighting on those squares. And then there's this goddamn cheater who's already destroying the town before we even begin. But anyway, first up, I move Sigurd, the one with the white horse, up to the enemy. I'm assuming this guy's the pre-promote or Jagan or whatever the Fire Emblem fans call it, so I do the math to make sure he doesn't take the kill away from my other two units. And then he does exactly that. Apparently the game doesn't tell you if you attack twice or not, so from now on I guess I just gotta be more careful of that. So then I move up Nowish and Alec in front of Sigurd to make sure he doesn't steal any more EXP and end my turn. Gandalf starts the enemy turn strongly by straight up murdering Medur. Medur? More like Medead. Hahaha, get it? Because he's dead. Rest in peace, our first casualty. But anyway, the baddies capture Milady and take her to another castle, using the worst possible path to get there. Seriously, there's like a footpath right there and you're not going to use it? And then on top of that, they walk through the river when there's a bridge literally a couple of meters above them. And then finally, to top it all off, the genius Gandalf tells this guy to destroy the bridge to prevent us from getting across. Like, what am I supposed to even say to that? You're an idiot. Moving on though, the enemy finally makes their move. This axe guy tries to sneak up on Alec by pretending to be a crab, but Alec is unfazed and bops him on the head twice with his sword. So far so good, but then we see the enemy begin to destroy the villagers. In this Fire Emblem game, the villagers take multiple turns to destroy, which is great because I thought there was no hope left for any of them, but it also means we gotta get a move on if we want to save the people. I say save the people, but really I just want their money. Now it's back to our turn, and we get introduced to two more friendly units, Azel and Lex. Azel has a crush on the big head Milady Ideen, which at first I thought was hinting at some sweet Yuri, but later on I regrettably realized that Azel is in fact a guy. This was made even worse by the fact that before I came to this realization, I said, "Ooh, those legs, dang. Those sexy legs." Yeah, I mean, what can I say? He has some nice legs. You can't blame me for that, right? But before we move on, we have a quick commercial break. And we're back. So after checking the enemy's range, I proceed to spend the next few minutes to continue to be confused about who's the best out of my horse trio and who should I level up the most. After concluding that yes, Sigurd is definitely the pre-promote and so I should not feed him the EXP, I end up feeding him the EXP. But it's okay because we saved the village. But more importantly, we took their hard-earned cash because we're heroes and that's what heroes do. After that, I go on to save another village using our newly obtained trap and his magic powers. He probably uses those magic powers to make his legs so silky smooth, god damn. But back to saving the village, we pretend to listen to this senile old man blabbering on about some nonsense before swiping his wallet and leaving 5,000 gold richer. Now we end our turn and see what happens. First up, another crab scuttles up to Nowish to avenge his fallen comrades. Unfortunately for him, Nowish is a renowned chef and crab cake is his speciality. But the crabs just keep on coming, and one even manages to trade blows with Lex. However, as rumors of the terrifying Chef Nowish spread across the land, the other crabs think it's safest to run away and hide in any nearby villages. While this would be fine in any other universe, it just so happens that the crabs in this one have a strange love for arson. So as our turn begins once more, my plan is to quicken my advance and save those villages from the crab invasion. But of course, before we can do anything, we have 3 more characters to introduce. Our first real woman appears, and it's Sigurd's sister Ethlyn, accompanied by her husband Kuan. Also, there's the third wheel Finn, but who cares about him? Anyway, our turn begins with only 2 enemy units close enough to attack, a crab and an archer. I take down the crab with Finn and Ethlyn to give them some EXP, and then run away into better cover using the cavalry's special ability. Kuan then gets some free damage onto the archers since they can only attack from 2 spaces away. Lex proceeds to straight up murder this guy, but then instantly regrets it and hurries off to the nearby church to cleanse him of his sins. I vaguely remember someone explaining how you can heal your units at a church in exchange for cash, so it turns out that stealing that old man's life savings was the correct thing to do. I move Azel up to the closer enemy and kill him from range as he stands there entranced by his beautiful legs. And finally I move Sigurd, Noish and Alec just outside the enemy's range to bait him closer and hopefully take him out next turn. But before that we have Evan's phase. Wait, who's Evan again? Whatever. We've got better things to worry about, like this archer that narrowly misses Finn, as well as the hordes of enemies that scuttle towards us. One of them manages to do a decent chunk of damage to Lex while he was busy saying his prayers. To the Father, the Son, and the Holy Fuck! Ow! What was that? But luckily for us, the church promises to overlook all the swearing and the murder in exchange for a bit of moolah, and promptly heal Lex back to full at the start of the next turn. But before that, the crabs begin their crazy arson spree and burn down every village in sight. We don't have any more time to waste, so I get Alec and Sigurd to take out the hand axe user we baited in last turn, with Sigurd the greedy bastard taking all the EXP once again. Then with their second moves I go south, because it seems like that's where all the enemies are going. Noish attacks the nearby axe user but does minimal damage and in return becomes low on health. I run him a few spaces away and heal him up with Ethlyn. Finn takes care of the archer while Kuan finishes Noish's job, leaving only 1 more enemy in range. Then Kuan has a nice little chat with Sigurd, but nothing important is said, so I'll spare you the details. On the other side of the map we have Lex, now under the blessings of God, give this enemy some divine retribution for disrupting the holy grounds. Then he proceeds to sneak past the enemy's main forces to save the village in the top left corner. Azel finishes Lex's job, but takes some heavy damage in return. If I was a smart man, I would have moved him onto the church to attack so that he could be healed the next turn, but I think I've already given the church enough trouble for one day. Oh yeah, and he leveled up, the first one of the playthrough, and it seemed pretty decent, so I guess respecting the holy grounds was the correct decision after all. But before we end the turn, let's check up on our boy Arden.
Why everyone always leave Arden by himself? Me want to play with Krabbies too. Life's so unfair. Arden very sad.
Well now I just feel bad. Don't worry Arden, I'll make sure you get plenty of time to play with the Krabbies in the next map. The enemy phase begins, and not too much happens. One guy manages to trade blows with Alec, while the others continue to play with fire. Also, notice how none of the enemies seem to attack Noish? They're learning. The crabs are getting smarter. But now, it's back to our turn. I move Lex closer to the village and Azel onto the church to heal up. Then Finn finishes off the closer enemy, while Noish and Alec double up on the other one. You may not know this, but Noish and Alec are actually rivals in the culinary arts, so seeing them work together like this is quite a rare opportunity. I guess their joint love of crustacean cuisine is enough to overcome the fierce competition prevalent in the cooking scene. Ethlyn heals up Alec while the 2 white horses move up to bait the enemy in. And guess what? The crabs just can't resist and come charging in, hook, line and sinker. Sigurd levels up, but our excitement is fleeting as homes continue to be charred to a crisp. In an effort to at least save one of the remaining villages, Lex rides up and attacks the pyromaniac, only to miss the 92% accurate shot. And that, folks, is why in Fire Emblem you have to regard any shot that's not 100% as possible misses. And so before the battle began, I made sure that Lex could survive at least 2 hits from the enemy. Luckily for us though, he manages to miss as well. Azel, after healing up, moves towards his buddy in case he needs backup. And on what feels to be the opposite side of the world, we have Finn and Alec take down one enemy and pull back into a defensive formation to protect the wounded. After a bit of fiddling with different characters and weapons, I finally figure out a way to not have Sigurd steal all the EXP. So after Sigurd serves the main dish, Noish comes in with dessert. And while I personally question serving crab cake for dessert, I'll just put my faith in the professionals. The other horsemen then have their turn and retreat back to create a beautiful wall. A small tip when creating walls is that the enemies can't walk diagonally, so even though it looks kind of thin, our boy Finn is perfectly safe behind everyone else. And then I realized that I can just heal him up with Ethlin, so building that wall was completely pointless. But sadly, that's all we have time for in this episode. Will Lex finally manage to save the poor village? Will Sigurd stop stealing all the EXP? Find out next time on Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. See you then.